So welcome to another Motion 5 tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make an animated logo or thumbnail for the corner of your videos for YouTube or for wherever project that you want to use them in. And the finished product today is going to look a little bit like this. So that's the finished product today, and before I go on and before we go into Motion, let me just highlight my project properties. My preset is broadcast 1080, frame rate 30 frames per second, and my duration is 30 seconds. Yes, 30 seconds in length. Now, for those of you that have got FCPX, this will be relevant to you. If you're going to make it and use it within FCPX, just make it use, this part here should be a Final Cut title, right? So make it a Final Cut title, so therefore you can just go into your titles in FCPX and drag it over your timeline and edit it easily there. For those that are not using or using something else, Sony, or you're using iMovie or whatever you're using, then make it a Motion project, and on the finished article, when you drag it into your timeline above your normal video that's going to be in your timeline, you then have to change the blend mode from normal to screen. So on this finished logo, you change the blend mode from normal to screen, and it will sit over above your video that you've got in your main part of your timeline, but still let you see that video. So frame rate, duration and preset are there. We've done that, and we're going to click open. So now we're just going to go to fit our canvas. If you think I'm going a little bit too quick, please go and watch some of my other videos, because a lot of the things that we use here I've already taught you how to do in some of my other videos. So we're going to first go to our circle tool, or our shape tool, and select circle. So just click the little drop down button and highlight circle, hover over circle, and we get this little crosshair come up on our canvas. I'm going to press shift so it makes our circle nice and even, and I'm going to make our circle there. So now, because I've made a circle before, it's sort of defaulting to some of the last settings that I used. So I'm going to press F7 on my keyboard, or click this little button here that shows our heads up display. Check my outline, uncheck the fill, and drag the outline width to a width that I'm happy with, and that's the width that I'm happy with. Close my HUD, and that's our first circle. Now I'm going to drag this to the center. You can either make it like this and resize your video later, or you can resize the circle here and just put it in the corner and build it this way. But I would always prefer to make it a little bit larger, so then I can just resize my video afterwards, which is really easy to do. So that's the first circle. We're then going to go to our layers pane up here, and we're going to right click and select duplicate. Or you can just press Control K, I think it is. Or let's have a look. Command K. No, just K. If you just press K and it clones that layer, so that's quite a handy keyboard shortcut. So I'm going to go to my copy. Again, hold Shift. Go to my blue points and drag it so this circle is smaller than the other one and fits nicely inside, like so. Then I'm going to double click in my layers pane and rename this to small. Double click this next one, rename this to large. So now I can easily identify from looking at my large and small circles. And then I'm going to go to my inspector with my large selected and shape and style selected within inspector. The way that I'm going to create this type on effect or draw on effect is with this first point offset. So first point offset, I'm going to drag it down to 100%, and I'm going to click this little plus here, which adds a keyframe. And I'm going to move up to around 3 seconds in my timeline, drag the first point offset to 0%, then no need to click add keyframe because it automatically does it for you there. I'm then going to drag up my timeline up to around 20 seconds in my project timeline. Then I'm going to click add keyframe again on the first point offset. Then at 22 seconds, I'm going to drag my first point offset up to 100%, No need to press keyframe because it automatically does it for you. So now, at the bottom here, we've got this line drawing on itself. And then if we zoom through our timeline, it then eventually disappears. Cool, so we're happy with that. Now if I want to change the speed of this, all I simply do is drag these points up. So now when I press play, speeds up a little bit and the line goes away. So to make it the same for our small, we hover or drag our timeline so it's directly over this keyframe here. Now we're going to do not this way around, so not anti-clockwise. We're going to make this one go clockwise, and we'll do that by the last point offset. So to start off with, we need our last point offset. Down, drag the slider down to 0 and click add keyframe. Drag it up to our next keyframe that we can see in our timeline, and then drag the last point offset up to 100%, and there's no need to press the keyframe because it does it automatically for you. Now I'm going to drag it up to 18%. I'm going to click add keyframe, and then drag our timeline over to match our other circle's timeline. Drag it down to last point offset, and it automatically does the keyframe for you. So now we've got two lines going opposite directions when they come in, and opposite directions when they go out. So that looks quite cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these change colours as they come into view. So here on our keyframe, just drag it up into the little bit of our keyframe with our large circle selected. I'm going to go to the outline of the colour, again shape and style, go to outline of the colour and click add keyframe so it starts at white, and then going to drag up just past the keyframes and drag it to a nice blue colour. Do you have a blue? Yeah, nice. So now this line will change colour slowly as it comes into play, as you can see there. So with the other line, so with our small line now selected, and we don't have to use the same points on the keyframe this time, you can use any points that you want. I'm going to start with a red or a pink. I'm going to start with a pink, and I'm going to click add keyframe there. I'm going to come up to where this goes into blue, and I'm going to make it, what colour looks, it's quite nice, look at that. So this creamy type colour, just off white, so that looks quite nice. So now our circles not only change colour, but they appear as though they draw in as well. And you could add more keyframes for colours down here if you wanted to. But remember, if you're adding too much animation to your logo, then you're going to take away from your video. So people are not going to watch your video, they're going to watch your logo. So what I would say is keep the animation to a minimum. So once our colours are in, I'm then going to drag some text in. So I'm going to click my text bar here, my little text tool, just make, and I'm just simply going to type 13, and with my inspector I'm going to drag the size of the text up, click off my text, click back on my text and drag it into the centre of the circle like so. So yes, I'm happy with this. Now, so this is the point in my timeline in which my text comes in. So I'm going to go to my library, and what I want it to do, I want it to rotate in. I'm going to go to behaviors, and I'm going to click this little search magnifying glass down here. I'm going to click rotate, and it will give me rotate in. I'm going to drag that to my text. You'll notice that it pops up in my timeline here, exactly where I want it to start, because it tells me this green little marker. And I'm going to slow it down by dragging the rotate in, like this, dragging that behavior and making it a little bit longer. So now my text will rotate in like this. So I'm happy with this. Highlight my text, go to my inspector. Now this is where if it's going to go wrong, this is where it'll go wrong, right? So just follow this through carefully. Text and format. I'm going to go to advanced formatting, and then rotation. I'm going to click the little down arrow. Now we've got the X, Y, and Z axes on which we want to rotate it. Now we obviously want to rotate it on the Y axis so it goes round on itself. So here on this Y axis, I'm going to click, once it's rotated in, like so, on my timeline, I'm going to click add a keyframe. So then I'm going to move up to another couple of seconds in my timeline, and in the Y I'm going to double click and type 360 and click enter. So that will automatically add a timeline, an animation for me. So it will now rotate 360 degrees over that time duration, and I want to do that again. So all I do is from here drag up on my timeline. Now this time just double click the Y axis, press 0, then enter, and it adds another keyframe for me. So like I said, I don't want to do too much animation because I don't want the animation to take away from my main video, because this is playing in the corner, remember. So it rotates nicely like this, and then it stays still until the 18 seconds where it changes. So when these circles go out, what I want then is for my text to rotate out. So I go back to my file browser, my library, and then behaviors, I've still got rotate in and rotate out. Drag rotate out onto my 13th or 13 text. Now it pops up here in my timeline, and I actually want it to rotate out right here on this green part. So when it rotates out, just make it so it rotates out at the same time as these circles finish, shall we say, which is there, and then grab your text. Make sure it ends at the same time so your text then doesn't pop up after you rotate out. So you can check with your timeline. And one final thing that I'm going to add to this is my here where I rotate on this second part. I'm going to change the color of my text. So I go back to my inspector with my text selected, go to style, keyframe the color to white, there, drag it up, and when it's finished we want that text to be a nice red, no blue, a nice blue, so that's nicer, nice blue, like this type of colour blue. So now once it's finished there with the blue, we're happy with that. So if we play it through now, our circles come in, our text rotates in, animates during the video, changes colour during the video, and when we get to the 18-second point, rotates out and the circles go away. And it will just drag your finished article and just keep copying it, but because it's 30 seconds it won't take too much. So I hope this tutorial has helped you out. If you have any questions, have any problems, please leave them in comments below, and if you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks a lot for watching, catch you soon.